Acknowledge me.
Leveled by Marvin Constant, the redshirt freshman out of Tuscaloosa. Oh, they go by now. Let him know he don't want to stop. 65 yards as the ball was thrown away from the line of scrimmage. Gerald Dixon.
Hey, you forgot to see my book. And proper.
Welcome in, everyone. It's Tuesday night, your favorite night of the week. The Bama Standard is live and on air. You know what to do. Before we get started, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, live chat. Let's get rowdy tonight. We got a legend in the house, so we expect you to come with it. If you're watching the replay, down below, you got the comment section. Let's hear your thoughts. Let's hear all your memories. We want it all coming our way. I'm your host, Justin Riley. Before I introduce my all-star panel, I got to let you know who is making this all happen tonight, and that's Limestone Company. If you ever dreamed of having beautiful natural stone in or around your home, don't settle for subpar materials. Check out Limestone Company's selection of natural stone products to meet all of your project needs. Limestone is located in Oneonta, Alabama, and is one of the oldest, most trusted sources in the state. So contact them today. Tell them we sent you by using the promo code the Bama Standard to receive 10% off your first order. The link is right there down below. As promised, we got an all-star crew. We'll have the rest of them joining a little bit later. But the headliner, the 1999 All-SEC linebacker, when Ric Flair said to be the man, woo, you got to beat the man, ladies and gentlemen. He's still that man, Marvin Constant.
Hey.
And then the illustrious, the controversial, the king of Galettes, but he's also the host of the opening kick on Monday nights. Welcome back, Daniel Pettey.
Man, just glad to be here. I'm about to get Marvin an energy drink. He's coming in all low-key tonight.
Hey, man, y'all gonna leave me alone. Because the moment I start talking, guess who never shuts up? This is always talking.
Well, I got an insurance policy in terms of energy. You'll see a little bit of that later. Marvin, we've got one of the best to ever do it in the house, and I think you're the only one who can bring him on the right way. Let the folks know who's in the building.
How did I get this on? But hey, I'll go for it. Hey, listen. Man, when you talk about one of the greatest to ever do it, I've never seen such a beautiful ball when it left a quarterback's hand with so much precision, accuracy, and force all at the same time. When I say, a personality like you could never imagine, and the things that he has done off the field, to me, supersedes anything that he ever done on the field. With his work, Big Oak Ranch, man, what more can you ask for from a human being to go from the spotlight to being a servant of man? Brodie Croyle, the one and only, baby.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you. I'm that was smart because I had all sorts of Marvin Constant jokes lined up to go, and that was real smart.
Well, go ahead. We've got time.
You can still fire him off.
You can still fire him off, man.
We'll find somebody else tonight. Maybe Smoke will get on here later. We'll pick on him.
You said Smoke was a legend, right? He told us that in practice he used to make your life a nightmare. Want to touch on that?
I remember as a freshman, I think he batted one ball down. I think that one time. But after that, in the world of as a quarterback, you come up to the line of scrimmage and you survey the fronts. All right, what's my percentage of blitz? All right, you look at linebackers. Is anybody leaning? You do all your pre-snap stuff, but then immediately what you do after that is you find your weakest link. And you try and find that weakest link because you go, that's who I'm going to go throw at. Man, for me, that was always Smoke.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Oh, shots fired.
Absolutely.
He knows that's not true, too, but he's not here to defend himself.
Exactly.
So it's a whole lot easier.
Oh, and he'll watch this and dog all of us for not taking up for him. Oh, none of y'all get in the foxhole with me. All right, I get it.
Hey, we weren't there. We weren't there.
That's right. That's right.
I could always bring up the name Josh Reed, but anyway. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I wasn't in the
Was that
foxhole
on
with him.
Smoke's watch?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Ooh, y'all are low
Yeah.
down.
I didn't know. I really didn't know.
Look, I didn't go there. You know what I'm
Listen,
saying?
hey,
It was friendly fire from me, buddy.
Listen, we're family, Brody, and one of the things about family is we hold each other accountable, and that was a lesson in accountability. If you're not here, this is what happens.
That's good. That's a good point.
Absolutely, we all grow from it, right? We got to take away the positive from the negative reinforcement.
And I watched Smoke jump all over Chris James and tell a story about how if somebody screwed up in a game, I believe Smoke was one of the first guys on the team to let everybody know
quickly. Including the offensive side, including me.
Yeah.
He was quick to let me know when I needed to play better. And so this is my chance to get back. You know, all these guys, you know, Marvin, we talked about Jared Johnson earlier, Smoke. You know, I was kind of the young guy that got to come in and got to play early. And these upperclassmen, it doesn't really matter if you play well or you don't play well. You're a freshman, no matter the way they look at it. And they treat you accordingly. And so, you know, humility is a learned trait. So thank y'all for the opportunity to grow in that.
That's a great segue to a question I have. And Brody, I want you to know this is a safe space. Have you fully or mentally recovered from all the hazing from one Marvin Constant? And is it true? Is it true that he had tiny calves?
No, not me.
Hey, I think we addressed that the last time I was here, so I don't think we have to go down that path anymore.
Right. See, Justin just wants to start stuff, but that's fine. You know, I know what Justin likes to do. That's fine. So, Justin, let's get to the real reason why we are here.
And that's the man, Brodie Croyle. Listen, it takes a while to get you, but when we do, we're very grateful. First of all, acknowledgement to your goat behind you. That's a legend in and of itself. Lupe. Is there a story behind Lupe?
There is a story, but it's not a great one. When my kids were little, they loved the show or the movie Ferdinand. And there was the little goat on there that was friends with the bull Ferdinand. Her name was Lupe. So we saw that and we were like, man, we got to get that. And now it's just become a joke because my mother-in-law loves to call me the goat. And I can promise you that she does not mean it in the greatest of all time terms. It's more of like sometimes you're the hero, sometimes you're the goat. So she just calls it Brody.
Thought you were going to say something like that. That goat was dinner or something. I didn't.
No. I really don't know why it's even behind me at this point in time, other than my wife set me up right here. So y'all might have something working behind my back with all y'all being from Northwest Rankin. This might be jokes on me, you know.
This is the setup, Brody.
This is the setup, you know. But if y'all don't remember, I've had a bumper sticker made about me, so you're gonna have to go a long way to hurt my feelings or get me caught up.
Remember that?
Is that when you made it?
Sticker say
what
honk?
Exactly? It said honk if you sack Brody.
Honk.
Honk.
Honk if you sack
Did you
Brody.
ever like want to call and say, "Hey man, couldn't y'all just said something like honk if you blew past caps?" Like, come on, guys.
I just as I said. You just kind of take it in stride, take it as a badge of honor. You just wear it. And, you know, you just at this point in time, you wonder why people still have it on their car, though. I'm like, come on, man. I guess 20 years ago.
But, Brody, you got to understand something. You wore the number 12, and we know what that number is known for at the University of Alabama. So you knew there was going to be all kinds of pressure wearing that number already anyway. You knew what came with the territory. You're a legacy player. Come on now.
Yep. I didn't say I didn't welcome it. I didn't say I didn't even enjoy what came with it. I'm just saying, ain't none of y'all ever had a bumper sticker made about you, so you ain't gonna hurt me.
Never had one made about me.
Nope. Never.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, and they're like, listen, I don't want to hurt your feelings. I'm like, man, I've been booed by 100,000 people before. I promise you, you ain't going to hurt my feelings. Just tell me what you got to tell me. This is off to a great start.
It is, right? Now, I asked you this the first time, and I'm curious to see if your answer changes. And really, Pettey inspired this question because we talk about it very often, and it was a bad memory for him, so he might want to mute this. I don't know. But you talk about coming in as a freshman, and very few were able to jump in immediately and make an impact. You seemed like you came in as a veteran mindset, veteran ready. It may not have resonated in 2002, but as a freshman, you upstaged Eli Manning, and we routed Ole Miss. Oh, yeah. Where does that rank in your top 10?
That was a good one. That was a fun one. Where it ranks, I mean, it's got to be in the top 10 for sure. But you know, I'm such just a Manning fan in general. Like, man, I've always loved the way they go about their business. I've always loved the way they go into a game prepared. And that was a very unexpected, like, outcome to the game. Like, you go in, you expect to win, but you don't expect it to go that way. So when you see it start drifting towards that path, it makes those games a whole lot more fun because, I mean, you guy will end up in the Hall of Fame, and he won Super Bowls and did all the things. But, you know, I think it was the next year we went to Oxford, though, and it was not the same story. It didn't quite work out the exact same way. But, man, it was fun playing against him. He was so gracious. And, you know, I was younger and, you know, a fan of his. So, and he was gracious after the game. And then we got a picture. So, I mean, it was a cool thing, but it definitely ranks up there for sure.
Do you do that? Do you rank the games like these were my favorites, or some stand out? I mean, obviously some are going to stand out more than others, but I know people are always like, hey, where does this rank? You know,
yeah,
I guess that's.
No, I don't rank games. I mean, I can tell you the most electric game I've ever been a part of at any level was the Florida game my senior year.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you just walked out on the field, and like, if there was ever a time you could feel electricity on a field, man, you could just feel it. There was this anticipation in the stands. I mean, student section was packed from probably like 8 o'clock that morning. And there was just this, it was time type moment. And it was one of those games where we could have done anything and it would have worked. Like, you know, Marvin, you just have those games where anything you call is the right call. Anything that you do is the right move, and that was that game for us. And, man, we needed that game. You know, I think it kind of catapulted us to have the season that we had. But at the same point in time, you know, it's also one of my least favorite games of all time because Tyrone Prothrow's one of my favorite teammates that I've ever had the opportunity to play with, probably the best athlete I ever played with. And for his career to take such a turn, you know, in that game. So it was where it was so electric. It also was very bittersweet afterwards. And, you know, I think even after that, you could tell what he meant to our team. You know, we weren't the same without him. He was like the little engine that could. But, yeah, that was definitely an electric game. That was super fun.
Look, Brody, two of the loudest pops I've ever heard, and I hadn't been at every game at Bryant-Denny, but the two loudest pops I've heard in that stadium were when you hit the first touchdown that day, and then when Cody got the block against Tennessee. But, man, I'll be honest, all the great things you did against other teams, my biggest maybe memory of you was the first time I ever saw you step on the field because I was living on campus, and, you know, you were the big name. But we hadn't seen you in a uniform, and we walked out to A-Day because I wanted to see what it was all about, what the hype was all about this Croyle kid from Rainbow City with this huge arm or whatever. And so we go out to A-Day and shoot, it's actually packed. It's one of the first times I remember A-Day being packed. I'm like, crap, we had to sit in the upper deck. And it was at some point, man, you rolled out, and I guess you were behind the 50, around the 45, and you just kind of just snapped it and hit it to the back of the end zone. And we were all, and I some guys you probably know ended up playing softball with later on. Mark Turnipseed and all of them were with me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we all just kind of looked at each other like we hadn't seen that in this stadium, and that was kind of my first memory. And I guess my question is, when did you know all you athletes, Marvin's special, you guys are different. Me and Justin played ball, but you know when there's guys that are different. When did you know, man? Was there a moment where you're like, all right, man, I've got this. I can do this.
I mean, I can tell you when I was 11, I started believing that I was going to play in the NFL. I actually walked into my parents' bedroom and I told them I'm going to play in the NFL, and they told me to go for it. So I went for it. But did I believe it at that point in time, or was I just trying to talk myself into it, or was it just an 11-year-old's dream? I can't answer that. I think when I probably was the summer between my 8th grade and 9th grade year, I think my parents probably saw something. My coaches probably saw something in me that I just didn't recognize, being 13 years old or whatever it is. And I went to a camp. It was the Bowden Academy camp, actually. And the amount of attention that I got over guys that were being recruited, and that's when Tommy Bowden offered me my first scholarship. He was at Tulane at that point in time, and I wasn't even in 9th grade yet. I think at that point in time I was kind of like, oh, I can do this. And then, by 9th grade, we went to state championship that year, and from there it was just okay. And there's a lot more offers started coming in. My 10th grade year, we started airing it out, and I think that's when I broke, however many state records that year. And at that point, I really felt like, okay, been given a gift, have a chance to go play at the next level. But that was, I guess that was probably it. We can go a lot deeper into that if you want to go deeper, or if we just want to keep it on football. I mean, we can just keep it on football. And I can tell you that's where I kind of started recognizing that it's time.
Yeah.
I don't feel so bad about my answer now, because my answer was, freshman year at Alabama, day one. See, Brodie went back to middle school. See,
hey,
let me say I don't feel so bad now.
Let me say this though. My first practice, if you remember, I came in early and went through spring training. I remember like everything about that day. I'd been coming off the knee surgery and I had my knee brace. And then I remember I actually wore black ankle braces instead of getting them taped, because Marvin Constant wore them and they looked super cool. So I wore those that day as well. I remember thinking, man, my jersey's too big. But then I vividly remember going out there on that practice field and not doing well. And I remember going back in the locker room after that first practice. And, I mean, you wouldn't recognize this, but, like, man, I just sat there for like an hour. And I remember going, okay, this is different. I've never played at this level. And you start going, you start going, can I play at this level? All right. And then you come off that negative thinking and you go, okay, what's it going to take for me to play at this level? And I wish I would have kept it. Like, all the things at that point I went are going to have to change about my preparation. Because you know what? I had never had to prepare before. I could just show up and be the best. I had never had to study film to figure out tendencies and different things, because I could just, find the person that I want to go against and just figure out how to thread the needle and get the ball to whoever. And you can't do that anymore. But I remember vividly that first spring practice, and, I'm 17 years old and I'm going, what it took to get here will not get me to there. So I'm going to have to change a lot of things about what it is that I'm doing to be able to play at that level. And here's the full circle story to that, is when I was a senior, and, man, we were on that streak, and we were just, I don't remember what we were. I think number 3 in the country or whatever it might be. And somebody sent me an article, and Coach Rader, my offensive coordinator at the time at Alabama, he said in that, he said, Brodie's the most prepared player that I've ever coached. And to this day, that's the greatest compliment a coach has ever given me. Because, man, listen, everything Marvin said about my football abilities, I did nothing for. They were all God-given ability to spin a ball and put it in places that other people wouldn't attempt to try to do. Like, I did nothing for that. Like, I mean, I had to sharpen it. I had to work on accuracy and different things, but I didn't do anything for that. But I had been given an ability to retain a lot of information mentally and process it fairly quickly. But if you don't have information, you can't process anything. And for him to say Brodie's the most prepared player meant that it meant something to me. And that same note I wrote to myself when I was 17 years old had kind of come full circle when I'm 22 years old, getting ready to go play in whatever game it was. So, you know, I tell kids and, you know, younger kids, they're trying to go play at this point in time. Like, talent will get you there, but it'll chew you up and spit you out in a hurry, because everybody there's fast. Everybody there is, talented, but your mind is what's going to be able to set you apart. But then you go to the next level and you go to NFL, and I sat in front of my locker after that first meeting and went, man, I need to trick these guys as long as possible, because I can't.
If I can just get this backup QB gig for as long as I've got
as long as possible. Long as possible.
I'm just glad you put the nail in the coffin. The whole "we're all created equal" nonsense. No, we're not. You were born with an arm I couldn't throw 1,000 times, and I can do 1 billion push-ups and not have Marvin's daggum muscles.
Life is fair. It is not equal, though.
Hey, real quick before Marvin goes, I got a couple of things. One, since we have a lot of folks in here, they're starting to trickle in. I remind everyone, all super chats donated tonight will go directly to the Big Oak Ranch. So if you feel led to give, no pressure to do so. Just understand it's going to go to a great cause. And before Brodie leaves later, he's going to talk to you about what the Big Oak Ranch is doing, the new vision that they have in place, and how they're growing and expanding. They're doing amazing things. So again, anything that's donated, just remember it's going to be going to the Big Oak Ranch. We want to partner with them and help them out any way we possibly can. And he's late, but you know what? He's still the star of the show. He's the undisputed king of comedy, the legendary Steve Brown.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm sorry I'm late. I had a table read, man, but I had to be here for the legend. I'm starstruck. Oh, man.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that, buddy. I
feel like that every time I see Marvin, too.
I'm in the midst of greatness. Man, Brody Croyle, what's happening, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm fantastic. Welcome to the show. They've been dogging you, so I'm glad you're here.
Hey, man, let me tell you something. You were so much better than Marvin Constant. You were so much better.
We got to move on from Steve. They got to move on. So
listen. Wait, we got a super chat.
When they learned the super chat wasn't going to Marvin's cheeseburgers and Steve's Bama shirts, they're going to start rolling in.
We got Kenny Heathcock, $5. Greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much. Again, that will go to the Big Oak Ranch. And before Marvin goes, sorry to keep putting you off. Brodie, listen, we talked about accountability. We talked about facing adversity. You just gave us a great example of when you first got there. I got a feeling that someone I'm about to bring on was a contributor to that adversity and made life kind of difficult. He played 12 years in the NFL, was a fine ambassador of Alabama, 2-time All-SEC, and he was a part of Ravens' flock. That's what's up. But more importantly, he is a man, the living legend himself, ladies and gentlemen, Jarrett Johnson.
Yes.
Oh,
AJ.
What's happening? You know what? Hey, you were better than Marvin, too. What's happening? Bring him on.
Jarrett, what's going on, brother?
What's up, fellas? How we doing?
What's up, DJ?
I'm happy to be
Glad to have you on, man. It's been a while since you've been with us. We've grown a little bit, but I thought if we're going to have Brodie on, we needed to make it special. So I remember you being his roommate for 1 year. I thought you probably have some good stories to tell, definitely about practice. So welcome in, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, me and Brodie lived together my last year. He was a couple years younger than me, but just the way it worked out. And it's pretty entertaining when you live with a starting quarterback. You know, you're just trying to mind your own and just go about your business. You know, that's not going to happen when you live with with a quarterback. There was a lot of entertainment. You know, there was always something going on. But yeah, Brodie's a very special dear friend of mine, and somebody one of the guys I wish I kept more in touch with. But yeah, I was happy to come on to be in charge honoring him.
That's awesome, because I ain't been nothing but roasted so far, so I'm glad.
What about you?
I know, right? They bringing up honk if you sack Brodie stickers, and I'm just waiting on Smoke to come on here, because I just got through maybe roasting him a little bit. I was trying to deflect, but
man, I wish we could get Smoke on here, because you don't know, Brodie, how much crap I'm gonna catch for not taking up for him, and I'd rather y'all just keep roasting him.
Oh yeah.
Real quick, Marvin, how's your energy level?
Our energy's good. I'm always good, man.
I think I got a way to make it go up a few
Lord.
notches or so.
About to go up 10.
We have Smoke's not here, Brodie,
okay.
and Stephen Smith isn't here, so I had to go out and try to find an extra panelist who was qualified to come on.
Uh-oh.
He doesn't have any broadcasting experience, but he was an elite wide receiver at Alabama.
Okay.
He's elite as a coach. He's a man that when he speaks, man, he got you ready to run through a wall. And when he found out you were going to be on here, he immediately called me. He said, "Put me on with my boy." Ladies and gentlemen, A.C. Carter. Deuce is in the house.
What's happening? AC, hey man, you were so much better than Marvin, man. I'm telling you, man. Yeah.
Clearly, he has dreams about me.
What's up, fellas? Thank you so
What
much
up,
for having me,
Deuce?
Justin, as always, man. Always good to be on with you guys. 12, what's up, baby?
What's up, buddy? How are you, man?
I am super. 12, how
I
you
miss
doing?
that smile of yours.
Man, I miss you as well, bro. How you doing?
I'm awesome. I hear babies in the background.
Hey, I got my grandbaby for the week. I tell you, this is the best time of my life, bro.
Grandbabies.
Yes.
Wait a minute. AC.
Yes.
Hey, see, what were you doing at Rose Towers?
What's up, though? Hey, 12. So I got a good story. Come here.
Easy.
Man.
So we turning this show into the old Bama freaks, huh?
It
That's what we
feels
doing.
like. Look at that little baby girl, man.
Say what's up. Say hey. Say hey. You
Hey,
on camera, girl.
we need podcasters. What you?
Hey man, hey look, man, I love you guys so much. I'm so thankful to have you guys. So thankful you got to have me on. And 12, I had to see you. Haven't seen you in years. It's the only way I'm gonna get to see my guy. I don't have a contact anymore, but man, I miss you, bro.
Where you at?
I'm at Alabama A&M, man. Receiver coach at Alabama A&M with Sam Shade.
Man, that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
You.
I've been here about since February.
Okay, cool. So
Excited to be on the hill up in Huntsville.
That is on the hill. That is. So you had to let FAMU go, huh?
Yes, I did, man. Hey, it's levels, man. Transition is okay.
What's up?
One of the greatest dudes of all time, AC Carter.
Man, it's always good to have you. It's always good to be on you guys' show, man. I'm just so thankful for the opportunity. 12, I got my favorite story about 12. I got to share it now.
Let's hear it.
Let's hear it from AC, and now I'm curious to see what story sticks out in Jarrett's mind. I know he's got plenty, probably some life lessons he taught Brodie. But go ahead, AC.
Man, I tell you, son, my favorite one. Hey, my favorite one is I remember when Mike Price was hired. I was home for the Christmas break. And my phone just rang. Brodie calls me. AC, guess what? Man, we're going to throw the ball all over the field. And, man, when he called and told me that I got jacked up, I was still beat up, but in my mind, I was ready to play, and Brodie was. And all we thought about was how Mike Price was going to throw the football and just the excitement in his voice. I haven't heard him that excited before. And he was super excited when he heard the guys was coming to town, man. So that was a great phone call. I would never forget that over Christmas break, being in Tallahassee and getting that call.
Yep. That was a great first half to the spring game. I got to play with him.
That's funny. Before the show, Brody, I was telling Justin I was working at McAllister's and you came in that spring and I said, "Hey man, how's it going?" And I said the same thing. I was like, "Dude, he was so excited." He's like, "Man, my arm's about to fall off. I didn't even warm up when Fran was here. Now we're throwing it 100 times again, practice." And you were so excited about getting to run that offense.
Yes, he was, man. I was excited for him.
It was good.
We all were. And then
the Lord's just preparing me to have lots of personalities in my life. That's why I was recruited by Dugos, played for Fran, practiced with Price, and finished with Shula.
I think you're the only player in college football who had 3 coaches in 6 months.
Yeah.
Man, I know. How about that? I had me and 4 for myself.
Who were the coaches? I know it was
Dubos,
Fran, Price
for
for
a cup of coffee and shooting.
All right, so now which coach was there for only a day? Who was that? Because we was at the strip club together. Which one was it?
Hey man, cut it out. Hey, Mike Price gave the world to him. He gave him a first opportunity. I thank the world to Coach Price, man. Yeah. Still talk to him. He's awesome.
Yeah,
good man.
Yeah, I saw him in Magic City a couple of months ago. Go ahead.
When Fran left, Brody, were you upset that you couldn't live out your dream of being a dual threat quarterback? I mean, I know that you had it in you. I saw what you did against South Carolina in 2005. You broke some ankles, and there was a game against Georgia where you were breaking ankles and diving on the pylons, going airborne. I mean, clearly you had that dual threat ability, right?
Somebody sent me that from that Georgia game this past week. And I was just sitting there going, what are you doing? Like, if you could go back and talk to like 18-year-old Brody, I'm sitting there going, that was not smart. Thank goodness it was. But no, when it comes to that whole offense and being able to do it, what was always good for me was there was always an audible that you could check out of to not run the option. And it was amazing. I learned how to justify bad decisions really, really well during that season. Because I could be like, I thought the safety was rocking. I couldn't see it. And you go back and watch film, and it's like they're in straight cover 2. Like there's no safety rocking nowhere. I always found a way to just make sure I wasn't going to get smoked, in the line of scrimmage. But I got a story about getting smoked at the end of the line of scrimmage. So I am I think my 3rd year in the NFL, third or fourth year in the NFL. And we had just signed Matt Castle. And so Matt's going to be the starter. That's a whole nother story about just kind of learning how to be a backup and what it taught me. But he comes in, he's going to be the guy. I'm the backup. And it's the week of, and he had sprained his MCL. And I'm going, well, but then he practices all week. Like I don't take a single rep all week in practice. And so then we get, it's about, I guess, Saturday, and they start telling me, hey, be ready tomorrow. I'm like, okay. And I'd already reached out to Jarrett. I was like, hey, I need some tickets that are better than the tickets they're going to give us. My mom wants to come, my dad. Remember they used to feed you all the time and take care of you, and Kelly wants to come. And so I need my family. He's like, yeah, I got you. And so Saturday during walkthroughs and everything, they finally give me a rep and walkthrough. I'm going, that's interesting. I ain't got a rep all week. Well, then that night they're telling me, hey, get ready. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. So then I go to sleep and I wake up and I'm walking in. It's opening day now. And I walk in and the first coach looks at me and goes, you ready to play? I'm like, sure. And then the next coach looks at me, you ready to go? I'm like, am I missing something? And I finally I go, what's going on? They go, oh, you're starting. I went, against the Ravens. They were like, against the Ravens. I was like, got it. And so I go out there and I made the mistake of telling Jarrett I was starting. And I just saw, like, AC, when I called you and I was so excited about Mike Price, that's what he felt when I told him I was starting. I could just see it on his eyes. I went, that was stupid. But there is documentation through video, and film never lies, that there were not one but 2 late hit penalties on me. And I'm talking like vicious. Like one of them, I threw the ball, and he took his elbow and put it inside of my head, and it was the first thing that hit the ground was my head.
Oh God!
All right, so and he's giggling. He's doing what he's doing right now.
His family laughing while you tell this story. By the way, just like hey,
look at him. He's just giggling. So we end up losing the game. I think we went blitz 0. You remember that, Jared? We went blitz 0 on like 3rd and 12 with like 90 seconds to go in the game. And Flacco just throws it up. They run under it. It just game over. But anyway, so after the game, you're seeing your family and everything. And Jarrett comes over there and he's giggling. And I'm telling y'all, my mom was mad. Like she was mad. And she let Jarrett know how mad she was. Well, then Jarrett, y'all don't know this about Jarrett either. He squeaks when he walks. Like he's tight.
What?
He goes, hey, we'll settle up for those 3 tickets next week or something. I went, I ain't paying you for them tickets. They're making like $7 million a year, and he wants me to pay for a $120 ticket. I'm like, well, then the next week, I get a phone call, and it's from Jarrett. I'm like, okay, well, he's calling to apologize. And he's like, hey, man, can you believe I got fined? I was like, what? He's like, man, they fined me like 10 grand for hitting you in the back of the head. He goes, I need you to call the league office and tell them we're buddies. They don't leave us fine. Like, hey, you're fine, bro. Come on, Ruby. Jarrett, stop me when I'm lying in that story.
Well, Jared, let's hear from you because he's painting you to be the aggressor here. That you're the bully, but we hadn't heard your side of things.
Well, all right. So 2 things. Number one, when that ball snaps, there ain't no roommates, there ain't no friends, there ain't no mamas, there ain't no daddies. Miss T has not spoke to me since. But what he's not telling you is, I think it was in the first quarter, I came on a stunt and came free. And he had stepped up on the pocket. He stepped up in the pocket, and I had the cleanest shot. You want to talk about a highlight hit, but he pump fake, and I did the old dog and ball trick, where I thought he did full motion pump fake, and I turned to pursue the ball and realized the ball never came out of his hands, and I just pushed him down. I got the sack, but it wasn't what I wanted the highlight hit, and so I knew if I got another shot, I was going to take it. And the next one, he pump faked again, and I wasn't backing off on that one. So that's how I got the late hit. But
what about the one?
Jared, Alabama brotherhood, Jared. How are you going to do that to your brother, former roommate?
He did to him at Bama too.
I guess my glasses ain't good enough. Jared, what's up, bro? Love you.
This is coming from the guy who broke the Sean Alexander rule, right?
Hey, that was different. All right, that was different.
That was different.
Yes, that's my Jared Johnson in each other's weddings and roommate story.
Well, Jared, I have one question. Did you ever get your money for the ticket?
Taking you out. That's
You ever get your money for those tickets?
No. Heck no. I wouldn't do that.
That's actually why he's on here.
Yeah.
Where's my money?
He's gonna confront him about the ticket money.
Hey, I will also say this though, since I did give it to him a little bit there. So my dad kind of handed down when we were doing our transition of leadership. Like there were a few things that he was like, "Hey, these are non-negotiables." Christian will always be in the name. Big Oak Ranch. Like we will always be a Christian home for children needing a chance. We will never take state or federal funds. There always has to be beds that are open for children that need them. Mm-hmm. And then my dad, if y'all don't know my dad, well, my dad is a kid at heart. Like literally, he is a kid at heart. And he always said, he goes, every kid deserves to see Disney. And I was like, what does that even mean? But his whole idea is like, man, our kids would never have had the chance to go see Disney. And man, I just want to make sure that, man, if we're going to love them, let's love them lavishly, and let's give them the childhood that they deserve. So every kid deserves to see Disney. It was really easy for him to say that 13 years ago when we had 75 kids and we have 208 now. That's a really different scale now, but so it was time for us to do our Disney trip. And I called Jarrett and I just said, man, here's what we got going on. And I didn't even get the question out of my mouth. And he said, just tell me what you need and we'll go make it happen. So I say he squeaks when he walks, but man, he loves our kids and he loves Big Oak lavishly. And he allowed a lot of kids to get to go experience Disney in a first-class manner. And he came on the trip. So I think my mom, that was the first time she broke silence with you at that point in time.
That's the only reason I did is to make good with Miss T.
That's good.
Yeah.
What's up, man? That's great.
Yeah, man.
Well, Brodie, I have a question for you. So, with the state of today's college football and the transfer portal and the way kids are hopping around, being a legacy player, how difficult would it have been or would it be for legacy players to make those decisions to hit the portal when they have that legacy to live up to?
Yeah, that's a
Great
good question. You know, I think the easy thing for any of us to do is answer the way that we would answer it now. But when you're in college, it's probably a little bit different of an answer. So I'm going to say this literally from my seat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to say it from my perspective. And my perspective is I went to Alabama when it wasn't cool to go to Alabama. I went when I knew what was coming. I knew we were going to be on probation. I knew they had just hired a coach that nothing about his offense fit my skill set, but I wanted to go play for the name on the front of my jersey, not the name on the back of my jersey. And so I think the easy answer for me is to say, man, if I was there and there was something better out there somewhere else, man, Alabama was Alabama and will always be Alabama to me. And so I think that's an easy answer for me to say. But I'm also, once again, I'm saying it from my seat and my experience. But I would love to think that that's how I would respond.
You know what? That's why I love Ty Simpson so much. He stayed, he worked, he waited his turn, and he was loyal to Alabama. And I'm such a big fan of his, and I'm just excited to see him play, man. So I'm on the Ty train. If nobody else is, I'm definitely on the Ty train.
I'm with you. But I mean, think about life too, though. Like, I think Jarrett would agree with this. Like, man, the game of football teaches you so much about leadership, about life, about teamwork, about, I mean, I tell people, I mean, we run our organization like a sport team. Like we really do. It's not overly complicated. You identify talent, right? You go, okay, these are the people that we want. You build a game plan based off the talent that you have. You practice for 6 days, always have a game day. Then you review, you rinse, and you repeat. It's not overly complicated if you just kind of simplify the whole thing down to what is there. But so much about what is there is learning a spirit of perseverance, learning how to overcome injury, learning how to overcome you were in competition for a job and you didn't get it. So what do? Man, do you work harder to go figure out how to be better at why you didn't get it the first time, or now you have the opportunity? So if you're just looking at it from a bigger perspective, a bigger lens, I think that is something that hopefully they're working towards, whether it be contracts or whether it be some form of, but man, just to be able to, just because you didn't get your way or you didn't get your desired outcome in the moment, like, learn how to work a little bit harder for it. Maybe sit out and wait for it. It's going to be a better situation, but it's only a better situation 12 months away. So why go have instant gratification in a place that's not going to prepare you as well as the place that you currently sit. I don't know. There's something about blooming where you're planted that seems to apply there.
You know what,
I
Brody?
applaud any legacy player though, because those are big shoes to walk in. You know, I'm from Tuscaloosa. My son in Tuscaloosa, I heard him tell somebody one day, because they were talking to him about playing football. You're in Tuscaloosa with my last name. Everybody just assumes you're going to play football. And one day he turns to the guy, I am not my dad. And that's when it really sunk into me. Like, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Hey, Brody, the man himself has decided to make a celebrity appearance.
Smoke, now I can't take heat. You're here.
Hey, Smoke. Hey, hold on, Petty. Smoke, they was going in on you. They was roasting you.
Oh, don't even.
Hey, Smoke.
Don't even. Marvin, you running that mouth. Marvin's running that mouth, Smoke, like he always does. Don't listen.
They brought a Reed from LSU. They brought up all kind of stuff. They was dirty, Smoke. They was dirty.
Hey, listen. Enough foolishness. Enough foolishness.
What's up, Smoke?
What's going on, my 16-year-old, 30-something-year-old, 40-something-year-old good friend?
How are you, buddy?
Man, I am doing outstanding. Justin kept on asking me for some stories. I told him I don't have any. We're model citizens.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, we'll keep it all PG.
You know, I was at a speaking engagement this morning.
Oh, damn.
I was in the middle of sharing, and I just said, just so everybody knows, I've seen 3 people in here that were a part of my life when I was building my testimony, but just know that you were there too. So we're all in the same boat.
There you go.
So Smoke was a part of your life?
You know.
And nothing happened? Nothing happened?
Hey, listen, where Smoke is a comedian, I'll say this about Smoke positively. Smoke's one of the most competitive human beings I've ever been around.
Oh my God! Thank you, Brody.
You really were.
I'm gonna go ahead and donate the rest of that fund.
That was something that stood out to me as a young player. I was telling him earlier, like Smoke was quick to let anybody know when they weren't doing their job, and I happened to be a part of that. He didn't let offensive defense get in the way of him letting him. Jarrett was about the same. I'm picking up on what y'all are putting down here, though.
He does that on the show. And we are tired of Smoke. We don't even want to see Smoke. Y'all like him. We don't. We don't like Smoke.
Well, Brody, listen, we haven't seen each other. You know who I saw the other day, Brody?
What's that?
Tyler Watts.
Did you really?
I saw Tyler. I was at the Bama practice, and we stood there for about an hour. He still ain't complete a pass yet.
Damn.
There it is.
I tell you. But Brody, you say this guy's your friend? This guy?
That's it. Hey. When we used to, you remember those crazy 7-on-7s with Fran when we used to do like 585 plays in 3 minutes, and everybody was gassed, and then we had to go good on good at the end.
Yes.
And then that's what your freshman year. And Tyler came in the quarterback. We're like, hey, listen, can we just go against Brody?
I don't know exactly how to take that, if I'm being honest.
No. We knew that you were going to challenge us vertically.
I got you.
How about that? No. And then
Smoke was the cornerback. He was tired of tackling on the option.
Tyler was going to make the correct read to the most shallowest receiver, and Brody was going to throw everything vertical. And if you had 2 on the guy, Brody was going to try to thread the needle.
Man,
and we needed that.
Oh, wow.
You know. And as a young guy, here's one thing about Brody I don't think a lot of people understand. Like competitiveness. Like, he can say whatever he wanted about me or wants about me, but we knew even as a true freshman that he was the most competitive guy on offense.
Oh, wow.
Flat out, as a young guy. He would Fran would mother F him, and then he'll under his breath like, man, and we used to see him like, damn. I can't wait until we get out of here and see him to set all type of records with Pro Throw and the rest of those young guys. But man, it was a pleasure picking on him when he lived down the hall from me and messing around with him.
Hey, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Smoke, you see who else is on here, don't you?
No, I don't. Who else is on?
Jared Johnson.
Oh, damn. Which JJ we got? Do we have JJ from my freshman year, JJ sophomore, third and fourth years? Because it was like 4 different guys.
You got
I loved all of them.
You have pickup driving JJ, the pickup truck.
Oh, the blue pickup truck. Yes.
Single
The blue
cab.
Ford. Yeah, I remember that one.
So Jared, what's life like after football? Because you look like you still play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do something. You got to shape. If you don't, everything, it's just going to fall apart. But no, I've been out 10 years now, and
Wow.
full soccer dad, own a small business, and just living life. I live up in Panhandle of Florida, and try to get up to Tuscaloosa about once a year. But other than that, just raising a couple girls, full-time soccer dad.
So you still working out
Every day.
So yeah, because I can tell you look a lot better. You look a lot better than Marvin. Marvin, yeah, show the people. You look so much better than Marvin. So much better than Marvin.
I got a question for you two guys. I mean, because y'all were, y'all's era is not that, you're not that far removed. And I mean, we all not that far from watching you guys, but Brodie, you were a 5-star quarterback. Jarrett, you were one of the top defensive linemen, went to the NFL, played for the Ravens.
Damn right.
Does it blow your mind, or how do y'all take this era of, like, if you were to come 10 years later, and I know it's not, you would have gone to Bama, you loved it, but as where you stood as a high school prospect, Brodie, big money would have been coming your way. Does it blow your mind to think how quickly this has changed?
I tell people, the Lord knew better than to make Brody Croyle a millionaire at 18 years old. I can tell you that. But man,
big money Croyle.
Yeah, but and you, I don't know. I don't really live life a whole lot in reverse, or really what coulda or shoulda would have been. It's amazing how all those little moments kind of add up to form you and make you who you are, and kind of point you on your path to what it is that you're supposed to be doing with your life. And so I, people ask a lot, like, hey, what would it be like to that? What would it have been like to play with Saban, whatever? And it's just, man, it
wasn't supposed to be that way.
Look back. Jared might have a different perspective.
Yeah.
Though.
How you feel, Jared?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's sad. I mean, I have a hard time watching college football today. I mean, I still enjoy watching the Tide, but just the value system has changed so much where it's focus on the team to the focus on the individual. People are they're career minded in high school. I mean, I was talking to a dad a couple weeks ago, and he was telling me about his son and how good he was, and how they've had to transfer schools to get him an opportunity to start. And he's got what do you call it? Like a college counselor, a guy that's helping him get recruited, and he's talking about all the camps he's going to. Well, come to find out, the kid has never started on his high school team. And so, and the dad doesn't know. He's just listening to the information that's out there, and he's transferred 4 times. He's hired all this help and all this stuff instead of just letting the kid compete and play. And if you can't make it at your high school, you're probably not good enough, there's a lot of good things. Like, I believe that players should be compensated for their marketing value, but you got to do it in a way that doesn't ruin the integrity of the game. And that's what they've done. It's hard. Kids bounce from school to school, and I understand why they're doing it. And I understand the money that's being made, but I tell you what, they're not doing. They're not raising good men. And they're definitely, the funny thing to me is, let's say you get your way. You manipulate the system through high school. Mm-hmm. You get into college, you bounce around, you find the easiest path, or the path of least resistance for you to be successful to go on to the NFL. You have done nothing to prepare yourself for the NFL, because the NFL, you're under contract. There is unlimited amount of competition, and they even if they love you, every day they are trying to replace you. They are trying to get better. And so if you show up with having played at 3 or 4 different high schools, 2 or 3 different colleges, I'm trying to find the easiest way, I don't want to compete, you're not going to be a good pro. And it's sad to me what's going to happen, and maybe we're already seeing it when the whole league is filled with players like that.
Right.
You're already seeing, like the kid in San Fran that walked off the field because the guy that came off PUP, who happened to be a Pro Bowl player in his first game back, and he wasn't starting. He walked off the field. I mean, that would never happen, especially not in our locker room.
Hey, Jared. Hey, Jared.
Sad to see.
I want to add something to what you just said, and I said this a few weeks ago. The days of like when all of us, we were all very highly recruited kids coming out of high school. The days of kids going to schools because that's where they wanted to be and they love the school, it is over. And it has truly destroyed the structure of college football.
Yep.
It's gone.
Well, I tell you, even sadder part is you guys talk about legacy and who you went to school with. I mean, we didn't have good years. Our sophomore year, I almost transferred. I was going to move to my family in Montana and play 2 years for University of Montana and go work for the Forest Service. That was my plan, and I ended up sticking it out. And I have friends now that I'll have the rest of my life. Well, couple months ago, the chaplain for Auburn University dies in a tragic accident. They had hundreds of former players come to his funeral. And just community came together to honor a chaplain who a lot of fans don't even know, but he's special to the players, right? There's hundreds of former players that came to honor him. What is that going to look like in 20 years when you've played for 3 or 4 different universities? And today with the Ravens, when somebody passes or somebody moves, all the players come back together, and that's a professional football team. These kids today, there's no allegiance, there's no honor, there's no, and it's I understand it's more of a business now, which is fine, but those are the things that are sad to me that are going to be gone.
Yeah. So let me ask. Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
It's to Jared. Of course, you smoke Brodie and Marvin. You guys are ex-club players. You guys are all good. Just seeing Alabama today, is the standard gone? Do y'all think the standard is still there, or is it gone? Just watching Alabama now.
Honestly, I don't think they even know what the standard is compared to what the standard used to be.
Okay.
Nope.
Yeah, I'll chime in on that. Here's what I truly think. I believe us old folks, and that's speaking of the best classmate and the best class in Alabama football history, the class of '99, Jared Johnson.
Oh my God.
98 class.
I'll take it though.
Y'all need it up.
Yeah, numbers. Listen, numbers will say the same. And Marvin, rarely do you get one of your own classmates to come on the show and talk anything good about you. All of my classmates talk well about me, and I love mine. But that's not the question. But Jared, you know what? I agree with you to a certain point. But what the adults have done right now for college football is really on them, not the kids.
Right.
Because the players never really wanted a transfer portal. The coaches did, because it was beneficial for the coaches until the players found out how well and how much they can get when they enter the portal.
Mm-hmm.
So for the 1%, like yourself, Jared, Brodie, myself, that had a chance to go on after you finish playing college football, the 98 to 99% of the other ones don't have that opportunity. So they should be able to monetize their opportunity while in college. Because a lot of the guys, like Jared, we played with a bunch of good players, but everyone did not love the game like you did. And that's where, I'd rather get rid of the guys that didn't want to be at Bama with us. Go on, get away, transfer 3 or 4 times because you weren't bought in to begin with.
Yeah,
but Smoke, you didn't answer my question.
What's your question?
Is the standard?
I think that the standard that they have right now is the standard for them. Nick Saban had his standard. Fran had his standard. Mike Shula had his standard. I think they have to figure out what their standard is going to be, and they have to live up to that because we can't keep on wanting Kalen DeBoer to be like Nick Saban. He's not. and we got to get over that.
No, I'm not. It's not even the coaches thing. I'm just saying that the kids, the preparation, all the other stuff. Like, okay, for instance, when you watch Bama football, every player on the field, they were playing for Alabama. They had pride. Hold on, let me finish. They were playing for Alabama. From what I saw, from all the many years I watched. Now you were in it, so I can't go on all that. But I'm saying when you watch Alabama, it seemed like the team had a lot of pride, and it was about the A. Now they're playing. It seems like these players are trying to capitalize on the name on their back. So that's crazy to me.
Steve B, I played for the name on my back too, and I never wanted to go to a school that wouldn't allow me to put my name on the back of my jersey because I actually care about my last name. But when fans and alums,
that's why you don't have no friends, right there.
It's okay. I got Jared, and I go to war.
You got Jared. That's right.
I got Jared. I go war with.
Do you see how Jared looking at you? He don't even like you right now. You know what, Jared? You know what? You should have laid hit his ass. That's what you should have did. You should have laid hit him.
Here's the beautiful thing about Jared and I. We respect each other so much that he can share whatever opinion with me that he wants to. We can both disagree to agree and still love each other.
Absolutely.
We're still gonna beat you up.
To what you're talking about the standard or whatever. You can't speak intelligently unless you're in that locker room in those meetings room.
Right.
But when you say that the player used to play for the A and then now I don't know. And this is me just being totally honest. I did not play for Alabama. I played for my teammates.
Okay.
I played for the on my back.
Gotcha.
And I was looking out for the guys next to me, and I was not going to let them down. Because you know what University of Alabama did to me? When we were 3-8, and they're pouring their whiskey drink on my head as I go in the tunnel, fraternity boys pulling up beside the bus when we leave Legion Field after getting beat by Southern Miss and shooting us birds and telling us we suck. Where was the A then? The only thing we had were the guys in the locker room.
Teachable moment. I like that. I like that.
And guys don't remember how hard you were going in that damn game. I don't even think Jared came out of the game for that one. That's one of the games hold on 1 second. That's one of the games that I vividly remember walking away and say, you know what, Jared, you might be one of the best teammates I've ever had in my life. Because the way that he played that night, Jared left everything on that damn football field. And nothing came home with him. So win, lose, or draw, he went home and he felt like he was a damn winner. But I 100% with you, Jared.
So Smoke, let me rephrase this then. So can y'all tell there's a difference as far as what Jared said? The players were playing for each other then. Okay, they were playing for each other, but it's not like that now. Can y'all see that? It's not like that now.
Again, unless you're
now,
in the locker room.
I'm on the outside looking in because again, and it makes sense what y'all saying. Unless you're in the locker room, but even though it's in the locker room, you can still resonate. The fans see.
Right. And Steve, what I will say is this: it's easy when you win a bunch of games to make everything look good, but the second that you have somewhat of adverse times, shit gets bad.
Gotcha.
And we just got to allow these young people to get through their adversity and come through. This is their second year with the new coach. Give them grace.
Absolutely. Well, Brodie, you absorbed all of this. We got a lot of strong personalities, as you can see, a lot of alphas.
I thought y'all had gotten rid of Smoke. I was about to say, man.
I tried to. I did that, but he came back. I did that, but he came back.
His NIL ran out.
Well, man, I'll tell you this. I agree with what Smoke said. Like, each team has an identity. Each coach wants to create their own culture and their own standard. And today was the first day I actually got to meet Coach DeBoer. And after my event, I went in there, got to spend an hour with just him. And what I can tell you is when you talk about is the standard winning, he won more games than anybody else has ever won in their first year. When you talk about the standard of wanting to raise future men, the guy seems pretty committed to it to me. We talked more about leadership, influence, raising men. I mean, he named 10 guys off that he was giving personal stories about of what they're doing and all the different, I mean, like the way he spoke about these young men and what they're trying to build and what he's wanting to accomplish. I never heard him mention anything about the standard was winning football games. What I heard him say was the standard was raising men. And I can just tell you, I think all of us could say that we went from probably being boys growing into men during that season there. So the fact that that's what he's trying to accomplish and that is his standard, it's amazing how winning has a way of taking care of itself when you do that. The first meeting I was ever in the NFL, Herm Edwards walked in, great man, great man. And he just walked in and he said, listen, I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how many Pro Bowls you've been to. I don't care about any of those things. He said, I'm worried about you as a man. He said, because if I can get you right as a husband, as a father, as a friend, as a son, as a citizen, if I can get that part right Monday through Saturday, I know who I'll get on Sunday. And, man, that is what I heard today when I got to spend an hour with Coach DeBoer. And I can tell you this, man, I was a fan before because not everybody will show up and take that job. Like it takes a courageous person to follow what was before, right? And so I respect that of his willingness to go follow that and say, hey, I'm going to blaze my own trail because Coach Saban was before me. There'll be somebody after me. But, man, this is my turn. I'm going to go do it the best I have. And the fact that we didn't have a single kid so far enter the transfer portal or transfer out of Alabama, to me, huge. That speaks volumes of his leadership. That tells me kids want to be there. They want to play for the man, and they believe in where it's going. So when we talk standard, I think Jarrett said it best. Like, we don't know the locker room. Right. But the fact that that's what's happening in that locker room speaks volumes to me.
Cool. I like that.
Absolutely. Well, while we were off on some great points, we have some more super chats that are going to the Big Oak Ranch. First, Tough as Nails, $4.99. Christian Soldier, number 12. Then we got Kenny Heathcock, another $10, and decided to make it twice.
Rain.
Look at him making it. Raining.
Hey, here comes the storm. Ephraim, $100.
See high.
Big Oak Ranch. Man,
whoa! He owe me money. Whoa.
And like Jarrett now.
This dude owe me money. It's going to a better cause. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, actually, the first half of the super chats are going to pay Jarrett back. So anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Well, listen, we've gone into overtime, but I think tonight's discussion warrants it. Again, we're honoring a legend. Brody, before we start to go, I'm interested to hear your favorite moment from Alabama. I know there are different variations of that. It could be your favorite game. It can be your teachable moment that you experienced. It could be something with teammates. But I'd love to hear what you had to say as far as what has stood out the most to you at your time at Bama. And then I'd love to hear what Jarrett has to say, and Marvin, and I'd let Steven and Daniel add to it as well. But if you would.
Interestingly enough, it is not a football play or even in a football game. It was in the film room my sophomore year. And I'd earned a starting job. We played the last game that we had ever played at Legion Field. And we played South Florida, and we're supposed to beat South Florida. We beat South Florida. I think it was 41-19. And, man, I played okay. I didn't play great, but I played okay. Threw a touchdown, missed the touchdown. I ended up throwing an interception. Like, I played okay. We won the game. And so we're the next day, you go to film and you're sitting there and you're watching film, and we're sitting there, and as coaches do, they fast forward all the good plays, they skip your touchdown passes, and then they get to the interception, they rewind it as many times as possible. And I'm kind of sitting there, and we've rewound this play probably 7 or 8 times. And I just remember going, man, Coach, I get the point, but we won the game. Could we move on to the next play? Like, I wasn't always the smartest. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a smart aleck by nature. So it's not a good combination by any stretch. But he turned the film off. He asked the other quarterbacks to leave the room. And I felt like we sat in silence for 30 minutes, and it was probably 30 seconds. But he just said, Brodie, if I can tell you anything, he said, this is it. He said, whatever you think your best is, he said, that's what you give every day. He said, I don't care if you're in the film room, if you're in the practice field, if you're in the weight room, if you're playing in front of 100,000 people. He said, whatever is your best, whatever is your standard, that's what you shoot for every single day. But then he said this. He said, but if you think I'm talking about just football, he said, you're wrong. And I say that for this reason. That was not like some turning point in my life but it was a moment that I remembered. Like, it was a moment that I was like, man, it's one of those ideas, train up a child in the way they should go, and when they are old, they won't depart from it. Like, it was like I was hearing that voice from my father saying, hey, this isn't about football. And what it really meant later in life was, man, football was just something. It was what we did at the end of the day, but it was never who we are. And that was the moment that I remember the most. Don't get me wrong. There is no feeling you will ever get of when you release a ball that you have practiced over and over and over and over again, and 100,000 people go deathly silent, and it's about to hit. And there is a silence, and you're just waiting for the interruption, and it goes. Like, there's no feeling you'll get like that, right? Like, there's also no feeling like you'll get when your closest buddies that was in your wedding hit you in the back of the head with an elbow and you end up eating dirt. Like, there's all sorts of pain in this game. But I repeat, the life lessons that Jarrett spoke about that was so well said about raising men, the fact that coach had the courage to tell me that, I'm forever grateful, because that is my takeaway from my time at the University of Alabama. It laid the foundation on top of what had already been laid to then begin this journey to, man, go be a laborer in this harvest field that is plentiful.
Awesome stuff.
Powerful stuff. Jarrett, you're up next, brother.
What about Brodie?
That or a game that stood out to you, or a favorite moment. I know one of the favorite moments I had was in Birmingham Legion Field when the tornado was down the street. Y'all are playing in the mud, and y'all took down Southern Miss. I think you had a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Is that right?
Me? No, I had a bunch of sacks, but I wish I never scored a touchdown in college. That'd have been cool. But no, talking about Brodie, Brodie was one of 2 bona fide superstars that I played with in college. One was Sean Alexander. Everybody knows how famous Sean was. And I know a lot of the kids later on are really, really, really popular, but Brodie and Sean were the only 2 that I was around that literally had a hard time going to class, had a hard time going out in public. And watching Brodie mature, obviously I was older than him, so I didn't get to see him in his leadership days and when he really took the team over. But, watching him, everybody knows the type of family that Brodie comes from, but watching him more from that knucklehead kid that was just trying to have fun and hunt and fish and drive around this giant truck, parking in faculty parking and stacking up parking tickets like it wasn't nobody's. The man that he is today, and is basically a card, cutout of his daddy, and sounds like him, acts like him, and runs his family and the ranch like his daddy. And it's pretty awesome to see. It's one of my favorite things about growing up and getting a little older is seeing, your old teammates and all the things that you endured and all the things you went through, and seeing you know, that they did turn into good men and raising good children. So, yeah, I just wanted to say that about Brodie.
Awesome. Marvin, Steve, and Pettey.
Well, you know, I'll say this. You know, playing for the University of Alabama was an honor and it was a privilege. And I don't think a lot of people understand how it truly impacts your life. You know, I have several teammates that I call on a regular basis, and I thank them for seeing them to this current day and how successful they are and how upstanding and good people they are and how they continue to motivate me to do things in my life, man. I don't think people understand that brotherhood and how much we really motivate each other to be the individuals that we are, you know, the men, you know, the father, the husband, the business person. You know, again, it goes back to what you learned at that early age and those bonds that you built, man. But it is truly a brotherhood, man. And I'm just thankful to be a part of it, man. And again, I watch Jared. I see him on Instagram a lot. You know, Black Rifle Coffee. I watch him. I see him training. He's out there. Again, a lot of times people don't even realize when you're paying attention to him, but you see it because, again, these are your brothers. And they're motivating you even when they don't know you're motivating them. So I'm just happy to be a part of brotherhood. And then you see what Brodie's doing at Big Oak. Again, it's always going to be a motivating factor in understanding the standard. The standard is to be a great man, an upstanding citizen, pour back into your community, and do what you're supposed to do. That's the true Alabama standard.
There you
There
go.
it is. First off, I'm just still honored and just in awe to have you guys on this show. I've watched you guys years ago, and you guys are really doing well, man. But I have to go off script, and I got to ask you guys a question. It's gonna light a fire up under you. Yes, it is. And I know you're probably gonna sweat, but I got to ask you. So just get ready for it. You can say a little prayer. But I'm going to ask you. You may not want me to ask, but I'm gonna ask you.
Quick, because you're about to have a tornado come up in my house. My kids have been waiting outside as long as they're gonna wait.
You ready? Here we go. Here we go. And I pray about it before you answer. Here we go. Dreamland or Archibald and Woodrow's?
Are you out? Is this for anybody?
It's for
No,
you.
it's for you and Jared.
You and Jared.
Your time at Alabama. Which one did you prefer?
The original Dreamland.
Yes.
Okay.
Jared.
Skip that. What was the options?
Dreamland and Archibald and Woodrow's.
Oh, Archibald's all day long.
There he knows it.
Whoa, there we go.
Oh, okay. That was it for me. That's it.
Okay.
Before Pettey gives his sentiments, Brodie, one more super chat from Snell's World, $20. Again, folks, everything that is donated tonight will go to the Big Oak Ranch. If you're watching the replay and decide to give, you can do that as well. Again, no pressure, but just know that it's going to a great cause to, as we talked about, training up young men and women and helping them, giving them a chance. Pettey, what you got for Brodie before we head out?
Man, hearing Jared talk about the students that were assholes, that kind of hit deep. I knew some of those, and that bothers me that people were like that, because I was a student at Bama, but I was fortunate enough to get to know some of you guys. I got to know Wesley Britt and all those guys, Chris Kemp, a bunch of them. And then through that, I had a lot of interactions with Brodie, and Brodie knows, and Jared, I'm going to get to this. This is going to be a funny story you may not remember, but I was an Ole Miss fan. I'm a weird guy. I'm from Mississippi, but I came over to Alabama. I played junior college baseball, and I ended up at Alabama. And all of a sudden, I meet all these. I was a huge Eli fan, but I know Brodie. So we had several interactions. And Brodie, you were always so nice, even though I would say the goofiest crap to you. And you would just, I know you had a good sense of humor. And Wesley rolling his eyes, but not you being nice. I only have one interaction with Jared. And Jared, I owe you an apology from 20-something years ago, I think. And I want to thank you, first of all, for not murdering me and sparing my life. And Joel, you remember Joel Holiday? I would go, me and Joel were really close. We had a bunch of buddies, and on Sundays we would go to the movies a lot of times after, crazy weekends to do normal stuff. And I remember one Sunday after a Saturday we had been out, and Joel said, "Pettey, you're an idiot, and you're lucky you know me." I was like, "Well, yeah, I agree with both those things, but why on this occasion are you saying that?" He said, "Well, I had to save you from getting murdered by Jarrett Johnson last night." I was like, "What?" And dude, I know you were one of the me. I didn't want that smoke. No pun intended from our guy, but I was like, what the hell? I was at the venue, started drinking them blue drinks, and apparently you were there with a recruit.
Oh.
And that recruit made a comment about Ole Miss, and that's all it took for my dumb, drunk brain to say, "Oh, why don't you go there?" And I think I started recruiting him. And I don't remember any of it, but I remember Joel saying, "Pettey, Jarrett wanted to kill you," and I'm like, "Thank you," because he would have. It would have not gone well. So, Jarrett, I'm sorry, and I thank you for listening to Joel and not murdering that idiot at the bar that night.
Well,
You weren't expecting that story, were you?
yeah, a lot of fuzzy. You know, there was a lot of situations went down to the venue, especially after some blue drinks that got everybody. But yeah, I don't remember, and whatever happened, I apologize. But
No, I owe the apologies, not you. I was the one who stepped over the line. So no, I'm thankful that I didn't catch the grief. I saw you on the football field, sir. I didn't want any of that.
It's not too late to hit anybody late.
Well, great stuff. Brodie, before I let you go, I want you to take this time to tell folks about the Big Oak Ranch. For those who are unfamiliar, please listen in to what Brodie has going. It's been going on for decades, and it's continued to grow. It's continued to expand. You're changing lives. Talk to folks about it and then how they can get involved. And again, folks, I remind you, all proceeds tonight from Super Chats will go to this great cause. Brodie, talk to the folks.
Yeah. So we actually just this past year celebrated 50 years of Big Oak, and to understand it, where it started, I'll try to make it as fast as possible. But when my dad was in college, he was 19 years old, and he went over to Mississippi and worked at a summer camp. And there he met a little boy from the streets of New Orleans whose mother was a prostitute. And this little boy was the banker and the timekeeper for his mother. And my dad just shared with this boy how he could change his life and how he could become a believer, and that where he came from doesn't have to define where it is that he's going. And went back to the same camp the following summer and saw that little boy again. And that little boy shared with my dad word for word what he had taught him the summer before. And he just realized, one, he'd been given a gift. There's no doubt about that. But two, that it was better than any sack or any touchdown or anything that he had ever experienced before. And he went on, he played, he had a chance to go play in the NFL, and he went to meet with Coach Bryant. And he just said, "Coach Bryant, I want to take the money from pro football and I want to go start this home for kids." And Coach Bryant said, "Don't play it unless you're willing to marry it." He said, "So tell me more about this ranch you want to go build." So he got to share with him for an hour this idea of Big Oak Ranch that at that time was coming from Isaiah 61:3, where God says, "I want to bestow upon you a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, the garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. So they shall be called oaks of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, so that he may be glorified." And that's the story of our kid. I mean, he literally walked out of that meeting, never looked back, moved into a farmhouse with 5 kids. And these kids were broken. These kids were living on rail cars. These kids have been dipped in hot grease. These kids have been sold by the people that were supposed to be protecting them. But it started in this place of, we're just going to give kids that come from hard places, we're going to give them a different way of life. And we're going to show them a different way of life with the belief that a small thing repeated is not a small thing, because eventually big things become, or small things become big things, and then they become who they were always created to be. And it started there. And I just tell people, like, man, God can use a willing spirit, because my family is living proof of that, because my mom and dad moved out into the middle of nowhere and just said, "We're going to serve kids." And then that house filled up and said, "Well, I guess we need to probably serve more kids." And then that house filled up and we probably need to serve more kids. And it just, over the course of time, it just grew and it grew and it grew into now that over 2,000 children have been called Big Oak Ranch, or have called Big Oak Ranch home. We currently have over 200 children that call Big Oak Ranch home today. And the mission has never wavered. You know, people ask me, man, why have we grown in a dying industry? You know, in the world of children's homes, there's 40% less children's homes today than there was 10 years ago. The problem is there 10 years ago, there's 3.5 million children in our country that fit orphaned, neglected, abused, abandoned in some way. Today, there's 7 million children that are orphaned, neglected, abused, abandoned in some way. So this scale's going in the complete wrong direction. And people ask, why are we growing in a dying industry? Because we now got a boys ranch that's got 14 homes about to break ground on 15. We got a girls ranch that's got 11 homes about to break ground on number 12. We have a college campus in Birmingham that's got 52 bedrooms for our kids that want to pursue something more for themselves. This fall, we'll have 24 kids in full-time college or trade there. We have 124 other children's homes in 34 different states that we've either helped plant, start, or grow, that this past year served 10,000 children that didn't call Big Oak Ranch home, but it kind of took the concept of, you know what, instead of building houses to raise children, let's go raise leaders to build communities. And it just, God blessed it. And, we just recently set off into the first time we're building Big Oak Ranch communities that's going to allow us to serve foster care children. It's the first time we've ever been able to serve foster care children. And so we're buying and building these homes. We're recruiting foster families to come live in these homes for free. We're going to place children in those homes and try to help alleviate the 6,000 children that are in state custody today. We want to go do our part to go meet that need. Why do we keep growing? Because I tell people this. One, the goal demands it. And the goal is that every kid deserves to have family, to know love, to get truth, to know someone's going to stick with them no matter what, that someone's going to teach them the ability to sacrifice what you want now for what you want most. Like the things that we've talked about this whole trip, our kids never got that. So the goal demands it. And two, I tell people what was still is. Like what we do now, where we have grown and we've scaled, and man, we got vision to go try and help as many as we can over the next decade. What we do is not new. It's just our turn. And what that means is what was 50 years ago still works to this day. We take a home where we believe family is formed. We put a godly man and woman in that home. We give them up to 8 kids, and we say they belong to you. Show them what God intended for family to be, with the belief that what a child repeatedly hears and repeatedly sees, they're eventually going to repeat. And we believe that while they are with us, that cycle can be broken. But when they release out into the world, that's when generations begin to change. That's as simple as I can make it for you. Man,
That's
nothing
amazing,
special about what we do. Like literally, there's nothing special about what we do. But, man, we got the best people in the world that sell everything that they own to come serve something greater than themselves. They come to serve children that don't share their name, their blood, their skin color, their past. But they come and they give them their best every day with the hopes that one day that seed that can feel like it's dead, it's not dead, it's just dormant. That seed that can feel buried. Well, man, every seed that at some point in time was buried, every seed was buried. But in the right rain, in the right temperature, in the right season, with the right people, that seed can begin to rise. And then, you know what, generations begin to change. And I was at a business deal the other day, and I just said, man, I'm the only person that's sitting in here that says our business goal is to be out of business. Because that means that, man, people are doing their job. People are raising their own kids. People are taking care of what needs to be taken care of. The problem is don't see that happening. So until that day comes, and so anything this side of eternity that we can do for orphan, neglected, abused, abandoned children, and we're going to go do it. We take no state, no federal funds. That way we can operate the way that we know how to operate and raise children, the way that we know how to raise children, and what has worked over the past 50 years. And so we look forward with hopeful anticipation of what the next 50 looks like. So thanks for the opportunity to share.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
What ages? If you don't, I'm sorry, what ages?
So we can take ages 5 to 18 at the ranch and in our communities. And then we also have what we call Ascend, which is our college ministry in Birmingham that's for 18 to 24-year-olds.
Oh, because my daughter 27. We trying to get up out of here. Listen.
Brody, you say not special, man. Not look, football is a game, and it can be a platform and get your name out, but nothing y'all did is near as special as what y'all have done for these kids' lives, man. And this hour and a half show, those last 4 minutes of you talking were absolutely the most powerful. And man, I saw it in your dad waiting tables. I waited it out back your freshman year, and he would come in every Friday night, and I would see him pray and bring in different people. That is who you're fan, man. I got to see a glimpse of it and just hear where you've come to now. I know you in college, and to see the man you've become and what you just said as a Christian, as someone, and doing what you're doing for kids, though. That, man, yeah, it's special, man. That's good stuff, Brody. That's
And you know what? Not only that, I'm going to say this, you're not only saying that you're a Christian, you're showing people what Christians do, and that's what I love about this. You're showing it, and I love that, man. So definitely, man, hats off to you, your dad, and everything you guys are doing.
Man, he makes it pretty easy. Love God, love people, and everything else takes care of itself.
There you go.
You were doing so much better than Marvin. Okay, go ahead.
Thank y'all for the time. For real, it's been awesome.
Yes, sir, Brody. We greatly appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
And if we can help in any way, let us know, and I'll be in touch with your assistant as far as getting you the proceeds that we were able to get tonight. And we're happy to do it. It's an honor.
Thank y'all for the time. This has been awesome. Marvin, keep them straight, brother.
You, brother.
All right. Y'all have a good night.
You too, brother.
There it is, man. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Before we go, if you would, let's go around the room real quick. Just tell folks how they can find you on social media, and then we'll jump off. We'll start us out, Marvin, and then we'll go to Steve, Pettey, and then we'll close up shop.
Instagram, Constant45, Twitter or X, Constant451.
Steve Brown, Comic Steve Brown on Instagram, Comic Steve Brown, one word, Facebook, Comedian Steve Brown fan page. And this is why you should be tuned in to the Bama Standard, because tonight we went so much more than football, and we gave you guys a blessed show. This was a blessing for everybody to see. It really was. This was a touching show, man. Really good.
Absolutely. Do you have any shows upcoming that folks need to know about? And if so,
I'm so gone right now in the moment. I can't even think of it. Just go to my website, SteveBrownComedy.com. Yeah, I'm gone, man.
I'm with you, Steve, man. That was, man, that dug into the soul, man.
That was powerful, man.
Yeah, it was.
My show muscle. Let me show them how powerful it was. Show muscle. It was powerful.
Pettey, how can they find you and what you got coming up? You're all over the network.
Yeah, Pettey_Daniel. You know, you can catch me on Monday nights with my boy Smoke, which I'm inevitably going to catch heat for stuff Marvin more stirred up than me. Monday nights, opening kick with my man Smoke. And then Tuesday nights here, I'm with these guys now swimming in these deep waters with these legends, man. It's awesome stuff. I mean, comedians and Marvin and all his muscles. And of course, the man Justin around the show. I appreciate you guys having me, because tonight was really cool. I always love being with you guys. Hey, I'm about to go on again in 20 minutes, go to the Final Whistle on their network. Be there with my man, Matt Goodell, Chris James, Dan James, who's the star of the show. Lucian, come check us out about 20 minutes. And that's it, man. Pettey_Daniel. Check it out. Appreciate you guys. Roll Tide and all that good stuff.
Well, that'll do it for us. Stay tuned. We got a hot summer. I know we're in the dead period, so to speak, in terms of what's going on in Alabama football, but we got plenty going on here. Great entertainment. Marvin, tell them what's coming up on Thursday nights.
Oh, Constantly Smoking. 7 p.m. Eastern. Me and Smoke, 7 p.m. Eastern.
So, yeah, the hottest show on the network right now, other than the Bama Standard, of course.
And I'm on there now, so it's called Constantly Smoking That Stuff. So, yeah, I'm on there.
Constantly smoking
that stuff.
Either way, don't miss it, folks. That'll do for us. Roll Tide, everyone.
Roll Tide.
Tide.